Every top tips video loves to use numbers like 3s, 5s, and 10s, but life doesn't always work that way. I mean, I guess sometimes it does. Anyway, I'm gonna break from the norm here and go with 6. Now, these aren't musical tips, so I'm not here to tell you to practice slowly or
use a metronome
or anything like that. But these are tips for musicians in any career field where gigs are your bread and butter, or meat and potatoes, or ice cream and apple pie. Basically, for any of us creative types who are self-employed and need money so we can eat. Shows about that.
Shows about that. Na 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 na.
I'm Aaron Shows, and I'm a composer and musician living in Los Angeles. In this huge city and ones like it, there are so many world-class musicians, and I don't consider myself at a level anywhere near that category. Yet, when you'd assume those players would get the first take of all the gigs, somehow, I still seem to keep finding music work out there. So whether these tips work for you or not, they've worked for me thus far. So I've been doing music for a long time, and through a variety of failures, neutrals, and some successes, I've found there to be a few patterns that seem to help keep the work consistent. So I'm sharing them with you now. Here are some non-musical tips for musicians and other creative types to have a career where you somehow keep getting work. Number 1, you don't have to be the best player or even a master of your instrument. This is the most comforting news I discovered many years into the game. Having good competency on your instrument or music skills are needed, sure, but there will always be better musicians, unless you're Jacob Collier, in which case you're a modern-day Mozart, and it's only a matter of time before your phone rings and, hey, it's Quincy Jones calling and you have a Grammy. Especially with the internet, where you can watch musicians from anywhere around the world, and they make you feel both really glad to be alive to experience their music, but also feel like everything you've done thus far is a waste, and you should just give up and quit. Don't be afraid. Spending your days in practice rooms is but a minuscule, though still important, part of learning music and getting better at your instrument. But you'll learn a lot of practical skills by being immersed in the job itself and doing it in real time, which leads me to this second tip. Number 2, be easy to work with. This applies not only to being there in person, but also the communications via phone, email, or text prior to the gig. Non-musicians think what we do as musicians is something like wizardry.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So show them you can speak casually using words anyone can understand, and be friendly, which in turn makes them comfortable and builds an initial seed of trust with the person, letting them know it was the right thing to hire you. It's all about building your network or community of people who work with you, as nobody out there works alone. We need friends and other trusting contacts to connect and refer us around to all the work that's needed. And also, the people who hire you are humans just like you, and so treat them kindly and understandingly. And often, some can even become friends along the way. Number 3, be on time. You've heard the phrase, if you're early, you're on time, so if you're on time, you're late. Like clock towers on the hour, it rings true. Plan accordingly, get there before downbeat, be ready to go. Simple and yet so often neglected. Number 4 is to read people well and help or allow them to shine and look good. If you make a client or fellow musician look good, they'll take notice. This is more so the accompanist in me talking here, and may take some deeper diving on your part into getting better at people skills and getting strangers to like you, but it's vital. People want to feel like they matter, both through support and encouragement. So if what you do at a gig makes someone else look good, or if they look to others like they are on top of things by hiring you, that client or fellow musician will really appreciate you. This goes along with being easy to work with, but also simply requires taking your ego out of the equation. Even though I'm not good at science, I do know your ego is a key integer to subtract from the equation of music gigonometries. So learning to read people and their personalities, plus letting others shine, look good, equals you getting rewarded in the future, and you'll be grateful you put in the effort. Oh wait, I meant I'm not good at math. Number 5, be the person someone thinks of for your skill. In other words, when someone wants to hire a person they know who plays a particular instrument or has a particular set of skills,
What I do have,
are a very particular set of skills.
Be that person. This means tell everyone what you do. This can come up in random conversations literally anywhere, and weirdly enough, they don't even necessarily have to have heard you play or sing to hire you in the future. Think about it as if it were you. If you wanted to get a new personal doctor and you didn't have any doctor friends, rather than look up random doctor names online, you'd be smart to first ask your friends who their doctors are and if they recommend them. It's the same with the arts. I tell people I'm a composer and an organist, and it's only a matter of time before one person among all those people I've told wants to hire someone who does that exact thing. And you could be the first person, or even second or third they call on, or you could be the person their friend recommends to them. I've gotten many gigs this way, and it's an easy and free thing you can do at parties or with anyone you meet, work with, or otherwise know in your day-to-day life. And last but certainly not least, number 6 is to be super appreciative post-gig to the person who hired you and thank them. This can be an email, text, or phone call, but I will say the best way is by a handwritten note. It takes a minute or two to write, and it lets the person know you genuinely enjoyed working with them. And that again, like I said earlier, they feel important and know they matter to you. And in turn, they'll likely associate those good feelings with you going into the future. So yes, having an attitude of gratitude is the way to stand out from the majority of those who aren't getting consistent work. Well, there's actually one more tip I have for you, a little bonus to tie it all together, and that is to be consistent. In other words, do all those past 6 things consistently, and it will carry more weight for you getting continuous work than simply being the best skilled musician. If you aren't easy to work with or willing to take your ego out of the equation,
science rules.
It doesn't matter if you're at the top of your craft in the long run, people won't want to hire you. I mean, yes, first and foremost, to the best of your ability, do sing or play your instrument or compose or arrange as consistently well as you can every gig, and that builds trust too. But if you don't first have these 6 non-musical skills, it's a lot of career points to risk when you want people to keep hiring you. And remember, you have to eat.
I'm getting better.
That's all for now. Please give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if these 6 tips are helpful. As I'm sure I've missed other tips that should be on the list, comment with any others you think of. And remember when I said, tell everyone what you do? Well, I'm a composer and an organist, among other instruments. And you can subscribe to this channel to hear my own music as well as covers of other songs. And lastly, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. See you in the next video. Goodbye.